Hey everybody, thank you for pausing to ponder with us tonight.
Hello everyone.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm John. And I'm fired up about tonight's message because the topic kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. We go for a walk once in a while, and we talk about...
Every day, 4 times a day is once in a while.
Because what else is there to do? And we talk about what we want to share on Pause to Ponder. And this topic came up, and I was just leaning into the conversation because this is really a good one. So hopefully you find as much value in it as I did and as you probably did. So let's go.
Okay, so we're going to talk about what should we be doing during COVID-19. We're not going to talk about what we should not be doing, right? We should not go anywhere. We should not see anybody. We should not stand more than 6 feet away. Yeah, none of that talk. This is what should we be doing during COVID-19.
All right.
So we're going to make it easy for you. It's the ABCs of what we should be doing.
That's pretty simple.
We're going to start with, when you're washing your hands, sing the ABC song. There you go.
But now there's a little more depth to that. That's not the thing that hit me like a ton of bricks is memorizing that song.
No, but that's a great start. That's a great start. No, that's how I was always taught. When you wash your hands, you should sing the ABCs, and you're not done washing your hands till you're done with the song. Yeah. Okay, anyway.
Which, by the way, the guy who wrote that song...
Oh, genius.
Wrote everything. Sorry.
We're feeling a little spunky tonight. Hope you can laugh with us. Okay, so the ABCs...
And of course, it has nothing to do with the fact that we've been, shut in for the last month and 17 months.
I hope you like who you're shut in with.
Oh, it's fine. It's great.
Okay, so the ABCs of what we should be doing during COVID-19. Number one is the first thing we need to be is aware. A for aware. This is a time that we need to take to think, to reflect, to journal, to really, be aware of our surroundings, but be aware of who we are and who we really want to be. This is reflection time. This is time that, I wish I could have time to think. We used to say that 3 months ago. Now we have time. So let's take time to really be aware of who we are and who we really want to be.
So I'm curious, how did you come up with this one? How did this impact you?
Okay, so at the end of the year, and at the end of every year, I create a personal development plan. And this year, my coach said, the personal development plan is kind of like a to-do list of what I want to do for the year 2020. I want to go to certain conferences. I want to read certain books. I want to develop myself in this area. But what about a to-be list? Right? My mission in life, my values, the song that best defines me, the scripture that best defines me. These are things that don't change year after year because this is me. And I remember the time when this was all introduced to me, and it wasn't this year, it was years ago. And I struggled with this. And I who am I? What is my mission in life? And I was on a walk. I can tell you where I was here in our subdivision. I was on a walk when it came to me. I'm like, there it is. That's who I am. I am Chef Kathy. I love to challenge people's habits so they're more efficient and fully empowered. That's me. Everything I do is efficiency minded. Everything I do is questions that I'm asking. And I love brain science, right? Where all the habits are working. So when that came to me and over again, whether it's my cooking business or my consulting business, over and over again, it comes back. It's truly the mission of who I am. So to write that out, but I gotta say, it wasn't one day, this is my mission. I'm now aware of who I want to be and what my focus is. It took a long time. Use this time.
And it's not just that it took a long time to begin to create, but it needs to have a life of its own to be able to navigate life as we live it, right?
A gestation period?
Yeah, sort of.
He always uses big words like that.
but so it takes time to create your growth plan, but it also needs to be flexible enough to find the environment that we live in because it could change, right? No one saw this virus coming in December, and our lives have changed. So it's got to be dynamic enough to live, adjust. So one question before we go on to the next point is how many of you out there, Kathy mentioned about a growth plan, have a growth plan. How many of you have it? Because I would venture to say statistics show that only about 5% of the population has the intentionality to create a growth plan. Because if we want to achieve a level of success, you got to remember, if there is no bullseye on the wall, you'll never know if you hit it.
You're right.
So it requires you to take a moment, put that bullseye on the wall, and then the steps to achieve that.
And through that process, you need to sit and think and be aware of your surroundings, be aware of who you are, be aware of truly who you want to be.
That's a good one.
And this leads right into the B. That's it. B. B-E. Be generous. Be intentional. Be purposeful. During this time, we need to be. What else? What else do we need to be?
I really think we need to be connected. That's the one that I wanted to add.
That's
because
a good one.
during this week, we find ourselves at home, social distancing, self-quarantining, going crazy. That was just me. But it's true, when we become disengaged, even this, all right, so we're communicating through a video. We still don't have that connection. I've learned that the body requires connection. I'm an introverted person, so I'm okay with being, isolated on a weekend with my puppy. That's perfect, right?
Okay, and just to caveat, I made a face when he said that because he's the most social person I know. But to define who you are, answer the question of when are you refueled? When you're around people or when you're alone?
Does your batteries get recharged in a group, extroverted,
Right.
or by yourself where you can take those deep breaths, an introvert?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the body really responds well to connecting. If you're with people, you have social interaction, your body literally begins to create and release dopamine, oxytocin, cortisol. So if it doesn't, I said cortisol. Actually, if you're isolated and by yourself and you're lonely, that creates depression, creates anxiety, and that creates cortisol.
So that's the negative chemical that goes on.
I was looking at serotonin as another good thing.
Yes,
is another good thing. But cortisol is released when you seem to be in the mully grubs, when you're depressed or alone.
Yeah.
It's harder to connect with people when we're social distancing or self-quarantining. And even when I'm talking to a camera right now, we still are not getting as much as we normally would.
You're right. Just yesterday I was talking to my mom, and she said, I'm so thankful that each one of us, John and I have each other. My mom and dad have each other. My daughter has 5 other roommates. My boys live together. They have each other. And I'm so thankful that none of us are living alone, because that's dangerous.
Can I also say a little bit about social interaction and the fact that we need to be connected? Very, very important, guys. Do research on your own. Time won't allow me to share how important this is. But also, get outside. Be outside.
Get vitamin D.
When the weather gets nicer, and it is getting nicer, you have to go outside.
Yeah.
Disconnect from the electronics. Go outside. And you know what? All right, hear me on this. Take your shoes off and walk around barefoot on the ground. Do you know why that's important?
Because there's something in the ground that stabilizes
the
us.
ions. The
Okay,
ions
thanks.
from the ground, from the earth,
Right.
actually begins to stabilize us and allows us to start to hone in on the proper frequency.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it kind of calibrates our bodies. The ions in the earth help our bodies calibrate and kind of right themselves. You know what I'm saying? So very, very important stuff.
You know what's interesting, just a side caveat there, whenever I'm in a car for a long time or an airplane, I get car sick very, very easily. And it's not until I can get out of the car and walk around that it all goes away. And it's probably all related to the ions.
And a lot of people, and to a certain extent this is correct, they think, well, you're done moving in a vehicle. That's what's making you better. It's actually the earth in your body. I mean, now it does help.
Because otherwise I'm in a tin can.
Correct.
And it's nothing natural about that.
And it does help if it stops moving and you get out of that environment, but it is the fresh air, right?
Yeah.
But it's the ions, guys. Another thing, you get a chance, bored
That's
out of your mind, have time, do some research on this. This is intriguing stuff that you really need to dive into.
So be great. The B in the ABCs here is be. Be great, be generous, be intentional, be purposeful, be connected, be outside, be very focused in on what's going to benefit your body.
All right.
Be that.
So we talked about the A,
Aware.
talked about the B.
Yes.
Exactly. And now the C.
Create.
Create.
We need to create. Now, I've always said, I'm not a creative person. Yeah, I am. It's just not crafty. I'm not crafty creative. We all have different ways that we create. So I'm totally going to share right now. And my computer is not going to allow us to flip it around. But look at this. Do you see this beauty? Right? That is wonderful John's creation the last few weeks. This is my standing desk and this is my computer stand. Now, if you follow us on Facebook, he's also created an amazing quilt rack for me. Yeah, he's the one who says, I'm not creative.
That was a struggle. This is not
amazing.
No, well, and all that matters is that she thinks it's amazing, but it's pretty parochial.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, so whether you're handy or crafty or cooking creative or a puzzle, we need to focus in on creating.
It is important, creative. And you know what? If you want to just do something different, it also helps your brain and it challenges your brain. Mm-hmm. So here's little things. Research has shown little things. So I'm going to ask you to do something. Cross your hands like this. All right? Clasp them. And now take your thumbs and swing them opposite. How does that feel? Is that a little different? Or take your fingers and where you do this, kind of like switch the fingers up a little bit, right? You did something different there. If you put on your shoes, chances are you put on the same shoe, right? Every time.
Like the same shoe first?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
right.
like you do the right shoe or the left shoe, okay?
Wow, habits!
Do something different. Put on the other shoe.
This is critically important for our brains.
Yes.
Our brains need this creative moments. We need to kind of switch gears. It's kind of like when you're at a computer all day, you need to step away and look in a distance, or you need to go on a walk. Because when you're looking away, your eyes see everything more as a blur than a focus. So your brain is going to do something different. Like, that's when I daydream, or that's when I strategize. I'm thinking into it. So creativity, talk more. Your brain, it's so critical here to create.
So your brain has elasticity in it, and there's a lot of gray matter, and it's never done adding or taking away. It depends on if your brain is idle. You're actually beginning to lose part of your brain function. Now, that sounds a lot worse than what it really is. It's not like you don't think and you're going to go crazy, anything like that. But if you're constantly challenging yourselves, then all of a sudden additional neurons begin to get created in the gray matter. So that's why it's important to kind of get somewhat out of your habits and try things a little bit differently, because the circuitry up there, talking from a very simple perspective, is you start to change the way things are wired a bit. And when you do that, new neurons are created and you become smarter. It's just, it happens. Do research on this. It's fascinating stuff.
It is pretty cool. And being secluded at home can get kind of boring. Create some opportunities for you to get creative, to be aware. Don't just sit around watching TV or watching the news or watching Facebook. Don't just sit around. Do something greater.
And as a public service announcement, one little thing that doesn't do with the ABCs is that all things in moderation.
Including food.
And food. Oh my goodness. Not just food, but media, news.
Very good. Very good.
If we listen so much to a particular news channel or negative news or whatever, we become what we put ourselves in an environment. Okay, so guys, do your best. Do your best. We're home anyhow. Let's try our best.
Let's
to
come
grow.
out of this ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So let's continue to grow. Thank you so much for your faithfulness to this channel. We appreciate you. Please give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Comment in the area below and let us know what you think about this.
We will see you next time.
Thank you.